Hello, Point Pleasant, and welcome to Friday's Best Kept Secret. It's the Ocean Star Sports Show. I'm your host, sports reporter Dominic Polio. I've got 3 great highlights for you today. We're going to kick things off with the Region 6 tournament. Point Beach is sending 2 Garnet Gulls down to Atlantic City this weekend. Let's check out their final bouts of the Region 6 tournament.
It was a spectacular showcase of high school wrestling at the Region 6 tournament last weekend, and 2 Garnet Gulls punched their tickets to Atlantic City. We'll start with Giancarlo Crivelli, who took 2nd place in the 152-pound bracket after a tough bout against Toms River East's A.J. Myers. The first period went scoreless, but Myers scored early in the second. Crivelli took a shot at his legs, but Myers was able to turn it around in his favor. Crivelli was able to muscle his way out of Myers' control for an escape to keep the bout close. Then Crivelli attempted another shoot that Myers was able to turn into more takedown points. Down 5-1 in the final period, Crivelli tried his best to escape Myers' grasp, but the Toms River East wrestler kept control for the rest of the match. Crivelli finished in 2nd place and then got to watch his best friend John Finnerty wrestle his finals match in the 145-pound weight class. Finnerty went up against Southern Regional's Teddy Caparino, who scored his bout's first points on this double-leg takedown in the first period. Finnerty scored an escape shortly after, and we've got ourselves a match. Boy, did these 2 wrestlers put on a show early. Here, Finnerty attempts a throw, and Caparino turns it into points, but Finnerty remains poised and works his way into a reversal. At the end of the first period, Finnerty was only behind 4-3. That quickly changed as Finnerty tied the match with an escape off the whistle. Shortly after, Finnerty made his move. He gets a hold of Caparino's left leg, muscles his way to a standing position, and gets a hold of his other leg. Secures a takedown, gets control, and the ref starts counting off the near-fall points. Take a peek at the coaches in the background and listen to that crowd cheer on the senior. That move put Finnerty out in front 9-4, and he just needed to close things out in the final period. He added 2 more points with a takedown for good measure, and the Southern Regional wrestler managed 1 last point on an escape, but it was not enough. And I give you your 145-pound Region 6 champion, John Finnerty, by decision, 11-5.
Congratulations tenfold to both Giancarlo Crivelli and John Finnerty. I wish you the best of luck at Boardwalk Hall. You guys have worked so hard for this, and you have been a pleasure to cover all season long. Also, shout out to all the other wrestlers that participated in the Region 6 tournament from Point Borough and Point Beach alike. Now, we're going to change direction here and move from wrestling to the basketball court with the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association 2016 basketball tournament. Opening rounds kicked off this week, and the Point Borough girls basketball team hosted Arthur L. Johnson, and it was a close one. Let's see who came out with the win.
The Point Borough girls basketball team opened up state tournament play with a thrilling 60-58 victory over the Arthur L. Johnson Crusaders Tuesday night. Borough scored first with Allie Lassen cleaning up inside the paint. The Crusaders answered with a layup and then kicked off a small run for a lead. Borough's Megan Hughes hit a couple threes towards the end of the first quarter, but Johnson was holding on to an 18-12 lead. The Panthers battled back into contention in the second quarter. With Borough closing in, Johnson hit a free throw to stay ahead by 3. Off the bench, it was Borough's Amy Burnquist who drained a shot from downtown to tie the game at 23. But Johnson was not shaken, and they rattled off a 7-point run to close out the first half, up 30-23. The Panthers closed the gap a bit further in the third quarter, but every time they got close, the Crusaders would find a way to create breathing room. Defensive plays like these 2 steals from Devin Wondolowski really fueled Borough's momentum, but Johnson held a 6-point lead heading into the final quarter. Borough kept chugging away, and a Lassen 3-pointer pulled them within 46-43. Then Wondolowski scored her only 2 points of the game to cut the deficit to 1. Johnson had a shot at the free throw line, but missed. Hughes took it to the lane and was fouled on the floor and went to the line. She hit both foul shots for a 1-point lead, but again the Crusaders answered with foul shots of their own to reclaim the lead. Borough kept getting fouled, though, and kept making their shots, and they were able to build a small lead. Johnson suffered a few miscues, but managed to keep it close with some big shots like this three. After Borough established a 5-point lead, the Crusaders put up one last heave, drawing a foul. All 3 shots were made to pull within 2 points of Borough with 1 second left on the clock. But the Panthers executed the smart inbounds play, and they take the first round win in dramatic fashion.
That one was a nail-biter, and Arthur L. Johnson kept it close towards the very end there. Congratulations, Point Borough, for sticking it out and getting the win. We're going to transition from girls basketball to boys basketball, and we're going to hop across the bridge, and we're going to check out Point Beach as the boys basketball team hosted Perth Amboy Tech in the quarterfinals round. Point Beach manhandled Dunellen in the opening round of the tournament on Monday, moving them to Wednesday's game, where they hosted Perth Amboy Tech, the 5 seed. A little shaky to start, but you got to see this one for yourselves. Check out the highlight.
The Point Beach boys basketball team worked their way to the quarterfinals round of the state tournament Wednesday and beat Perth Amboy Tech 55-32. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Point Beach, who was all out of sorts in the first quarter. Perth Amboy jumped out to a 9-4 lead behind some nice shots from the field. But don't fret too much because the Garnet Gulls took flight in the second quarter. Here, Danny Frauenheim connects with Chris Pina for the game-tying dunk. Shortly after, it was Mike Rice who drains the long ball for a lead that Beach would never relinquish. Everybody and their cousin got in on the action in the second quarter as the Gulls put together a 28-2 run. Yes, that's right, they held Perth Amboy Tech to only 2 points in the second quarter. It was a phenomenal display of defense from Point Beach. Players off the bench like Luke Frauenheim not only contributed points but also played strong defense. And Perth Amboy Tech was frustrated. By halftime, Point Beach had amassed a 30-11 lead. Not much changed in the third quarter as Beach continued playing strong, exemplified by heads-up plays from senior Jimmy Panzini. On offense, they fed Alex Marusik under the basket and furthered their third quarter lead. And just for fun, check out this monster block from Pina. As the game wore on into the fourth and final quarter, Nick Catania subbed out the starters and Perth Amboy was able to find the basket a bit better. But Beach's bench players also made their fair share of shots. The starters cheered on their teammates and Beach moves on to the semifinals with a big team win at home.
Nothing like basketball tournament season, and Point Beach has come to play, ladies and gentlemen. They have the semifinal round game tonight on the road against Bound Brook. I will be there with the camera, so you guys have a highlight for next week's Ocean Star Sports Show. So make sure you return for that. But in the meantime, pick up today's copy of the Ocean Star, that's March 4th, 2016, and you give that sports section a really good read. The front page features a bunch of individual accomplishments from great athletes out of both Point Pleasant Beach and Point Pleasant Borough, so make sure you give them credit where credit is due. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Dom Polio. That's at DOMPOLLIO. I will provide you updates as often as I can on everything that happens in the sports world here in Point Pleasant. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the show. I love having you guys watch it. I love putting it together for you, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Reporting for Star News Group, I'm Dominic Polio, wishing you a happy weekend.